Okay, now that we've learned how to handle the intersection areas and the driveways along the corridor, let's focus our attention on the areas where we have our dedicated right turn lanes and where the corridor needs to be widened in those areas. So in this exercise, we're going to create some additional template drops to handle those turn lane areas, and we're also going to use some corridor references and point controls to force the template to widen in those areas and follow some edge of pavement geometry that we've created in our plan view file. So let's review our plan view once again. If we zoom out of the 2D plan view and we go up to the northern section of the project, you're going to see we have on the left side of the road here, we have a taper into a right turn lane going onto this ramp B. So we need to widen out our corridor in this area. Also on the northern section, farther up, we also have another turn lane that's going to form and taper out. So right now, our whole corridor is 2 lanes with a center turn lane all the way through. So if we look at the 3D model in this area, let's rotate this around. You can see the pavement's not widening at all. It's not tapering out in those turn lane areas. So that's what we want to learn how to do next, is how do we do these tapers and do this widening in these areas. So what I'm first going to do is I'm going to create some additional template drops in these areas. I have a couple different templates that I've created to accommodate the widening here that we need to accomplish. So let's go ahead and take a look at those templates before we actually create the template drop, just so you have a better understanding of how this is going to work with the template itself. So I'm going to come up here to the Create Template tool once again. Go up to Template, Create Template. And we're going to be using 2 different templates. We're going to be using one for the right side, one for the left side. So the first widening is going to be on the left side of the road. So if we look at this 2 lanes plus turn lane with this auxiliary lane left urban, if we left click on that and you take a look at the template, it's going to look like this when you first open it. And you're going to notice there isn't any grading on this side. And I did that because what we're going to do is we're going to have this point up here go out and seek the edge of pavement geometry that I've drawn in my plan view. So just like we did with the corridor references, where we added a corridor reference to the template to have a template point go and seek that particular feature definition, we're going to do the same thing with this point here. If I double click on this point, you're going to see that it's looking for the edge of pavement feature definition on the left side of the road. Okay, so what it's going to do is when I add that feature definition, or I add that geometry that represents my edge of pavement on the left side of the road, when I add that as a corridor reference, this point's automatically going to move horizontally to that location. And then when it moves, I'll come over here and test it with the point controls here. You'll see that the turn lane will come on, the pavement will get widened, my curb and gutter, my sidewalk, and all my grading will show up when it's added as a corridor reference to this particular corridor in this point. So that's what's going to happen on that left side. So let's go ahead and close this so I get an understanding of how this is going to work. So we're working on the left side of the road first. If we zoom into the 2D plan view here, right now, as I said, we only have our 2 lanes plus our center turn lane. Well, now we're going to be adding this right turn lane on the left side of the road and this taper. So how are we going to make that happen? Well, we're going to create a new template drop between this location and this location. And once again, I'm using these graphical construction elements that I've drawn in my geometry control file, and we'll snap to those to place our new template drops. So let's go over here and create new template drops for this turn lane, and then let's create another template drop for the other turn lane to the north, and then we'll take care of the widening using adding corridor reference elements, and then we'll do something different on the northern end using a point control to widen the pavement. So let's come over here and create a new template drop. So we'll go up to corridors, new template drop. Once again, we'll locate our corridor. So you can just grab your corridor object, grab by the handles. And then we want to change our template. So we want to use that 2 lanes plus turn lane plus auxiliary lane for the left side of the road. So I'm going to press my Alt key on my keyboard and the down arrow. So we can browse to our template library. We want to use this template right here, which is the one I just showed you. Okay, so we're going to click OK. And then now I want to left click to accept that. And for our start location, we're going to snap to start template drop for the right turn lane. So I'm going to snap to that location there, left click to accept. And then over here, the ending template drop for the right turn lane is going to be right there at the end of the taper. And we're going to left click to accept. Template drop interval through there is still going to be 10 feet. Every 10 feet, we're going to drop that template. Transition will be 0. Stop transition will be 0. One thing to note is we're not going to get the taper showing up there just quite yet because we have not widened out the pavement. Now, in order to widen out the pavement, we're going to add the edge of pavement geometry that I have drawn in my 2D plan as a corridor reference. Okay, so right now all we see is pavement here because I haven't added my left edge of pavement here as a corridor reference. So if we go up to corridor references and we add our left edge of pavement as a corridor reference to the corridor, that will enable our template to go out and seek that particular edge of pavement, that feature definition, and move the template out there to widen the corridor. So we'll come over here and locate our corridor, locate our first reference element, which is going to be our edge of pavement. So you want to make sure you select both elements here. We could have made that just be 1 if we wanted to, but I just made it 2. And we'll just right click to complete. And now what's going to happen is you should see the turn lane and the curb and gutter and the sidewalk and the grading now shows up. And again, that's happening because the null point in the template is set up to seek the edge of pavement. Once that null point moves, it toggles a display rule to display our turn lane pavement, our curb and gutter, our sidewalk, and our grading.